Where did she go?
Flying.
It's not you. She's flying. I don't know where she is. So, maybe she's behind the stage. I don't know. So, I would like to bring up the one and only amazing friend of mine. Well, she's not my only one and only friend of mine. That's not funny. But I met her years and years ago in San Francisco. She may, I just found her, she may have been in a Broadway show that you might have heard about for the last 13, 14? Oh my gosh. Guys, will you please bring up the beautiful Jessica Radetsky, ladies and gentlemen. Let's turn that slide to Jessica's slide for a second. And we have the amazing Jessica's. Oh, there she is. Would you like to stand or like to sit? It's up to you. Whatevs. She said whatevs. I'm so old. Does that mean whatever? What does that mean? Okay, excellent. There you go. Short for whatever. Why don't you just say what? No. All right. So Jessica Radetsky, I met. Where did we meet? We met in San Francisco when we were teenagers. And I just laughed. She was a teenager, I was a little older, and a couple years older. And you were in ballet class. You're going to what was the school?
City Ballet School.
City Ballet School in San Francisco. And I remember I was friends with her and Carrie, China, right? and I had a motorcycle at the time. I actually still do. And I was like, yeah, I'll drive her to school. So I pick her up and we cruise around and drive her, drop her off, and I would go there because like she's a really good friend of mine, and she's like in ballet school, and I'm like a couple years older than all your friends are like gorgeous and ballet and all this. I'm like, please introduce me. So I used to hang out all the time, and then how did that? So by the way, she went from there. She'll tell you the rest of the story, but she went from there to being not off Broadway, but on Broadway as a singer, a dancer, and a director. And she's part of, have you ever heard of the Phantom of the Opera? In New York City. This is Jessica Radetsky, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for Jessica Radetsky.
That's like the best introduction I've ever had. Thank you. The best introduction ever. I feel like I should have introduced music to that too. That was like the best thing ever.
What music would we have?
I never recorded that though.
The Phantom shows up, and then the chandelier comes down. No, we don't want to do that.
No. So yes.
Who's seen Phantom? Amazing, right? Oh,
So one of the dancers in the show, obviously from the intro, and I've been in the show for a million years, as he pointed out, on and off, and it's amazing. It's a really great job, and it's also
keep talking. I'm just doing something.
it's also allowed me to do a lot of really cool creative things outside of the show as well, which maybe we'll touch upon a little bit later. But yeah, Eric and I sort of known each other for a long time.
And we never lost touch in regard to being friends, and it's just amazing how it's awesome.
And also to see what you've done with all of this is just like blows my mind.
Well, we didn't have banners up about 20 minutes ago. We just put them on. Thank you for it, but thank you. And I know that, what story do you want to tell these awesome people? Because I definitely want you to talk about, expand on your nonprofit, which is amazing, and how we ended up meeting. Like I'll just start this story. So she and I were having lunch in New York City. It's cool there, and what it is. And we're at the Standard Hotel, at the Standard Grill, if you guys know where that is. And it's really cool outside. And we're talking about stuff, and she's like, well, I want to start this nonprofit. I want to do this.
No.
That's not what happened.
This is not how the story goes. So this is like the third amazing thing that Eric has done for me. So the first amazing thing that he did was he said, hey, do you want to come and be on this female empowerment panel at one of my events? And I was like, yeah, Doy, of course. So
Wait, Doy, is that like what?
Yeah, I'm a total dork. So
Yeah, what
there
if
it is.
Doy and gnarly from Lucas? I'm learning.
Okay. Right! Hi! Okay, so this is a story about Frank Schenker.
Can you just tell Frank? Can you just tell him like, sorry, I'll be right there, Frank.
Okay, so this actually pertains completely to this man who's walking in the back room. So Eric asked me if I would be a part of this female empowerment panel, and of course I said yes because he's one of my oldest and dearest friends. And unbeknownst to me, oldest in length of time that we've known each other and stayed in touch, not in years. I go, and he knows that I've started this outreach group, this nonprofit group, which is a children's hospital outreach group where a bunch of I've sort of gathered a bunch of my Broadway friends, and we go into children's hospitals and we sing with the kids, we hang out with the kids, and it's also a scholarship program that we send the kids home when their treatment is either paused or concluded. We send them home with an art scholarship, whatever they love, whether it be music, dance, or fine arts, writing, whatever it is that makes their healing happen. We facilitate that for them. So I had started this group, and Eric knew about it, and he said that we'd love for you to be a part of this conference. So I took some time off, and I said, sure. So I came down, and one of the reasons that I started this group in the first place was that we would get these Make-A-Wish kids coming to the show. And at the last minute, sometimes they'd have to cancel. And that would make my brain just go bonkers. It would just spin out of control and make my heart hurt. And so I just thought, well, why don't we bring Broadway to them? And it took a long time for me to get my group into the hospitals. It took a long time for me to even form my group. But once I did, it sort of snowballed, and I was able to make this group something really special. So it really started with these Make-A-Wish kids coming to the show. So here I am at the How to Murder conference, and I'm talking to this tall lug of a man in a cowboy hat. Unbeknownst to me, it's Frank Shankowitz, and this is at one of the parties, and Eric comes over, and Frank and I are just having a conversation. He says, do you know who you're talking to? And I was like, yeah, this is my new friend Frank. And he's like, no.
You even said Doy.
And he said, no, this is Frank Shankowitz, one of the founders of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Of course, like, immediately my eyes just like brim over with tears, and I'm trying to not be a complete idiot and like start bawling my face off, but of course that's what's inside of me. And Frank has been an incredible mentor to me and helped me so much in this group, and I'm like forever grateful. Oh my God. Yeah. So it's now we're a full nonprofit, and now we are hopefully going to take it nationwide. We're in the Ronald McDonald House.
I think we can help them, right?
Oh my gosh. We're in all these hospitals. We're doing some really great work, and it's become, I always thought, like, I don't know that I would ever have a second passion besides dancing. And then all of a sudden, with this creation of this group, here's this like huge passion to help these kids. And these kids are amazing. Oh my God. They're like the most inspiring thing on the planet. I mean, they'll blow your mind.
So how can we help? How can we all get involved? And by the way, every time she gets excited, you notice she almost sings. Almost. Which maybe we can encourage her to almost actually sing a tiny bit of something. Like, is it anyone's birthday today? Come on, it's gotta be something. So we have just a couple more minutes here for this interview. So if you could just help us help you. Jerry McGuire. But help us help you. How could we help you for Broadway Hearts?
Well, everyone can go to the website, it's BroadwayHearts.org, and obviously donations are always welcome. A scholarship, it ranges between $2,000 and $4,000 to help one child, so it's really reasonable. But also any kind of connections to any hospitals, the Child Life Therapy Department in any hospital, children's hospital, anywhere in the nation would be a huge help to me. Just in the end, I find that that's the hardest thing, or around McDonald House in any part of the country, since I'd really love to take my group nationwide and get in everywhere. I want to get in everywhere.
That's awesome. That's really exciting about these things.
Yeah.
So I'm just so excited that you're here. I know you're going to be sharing some more with us on the female empowerment panel as well. So any last parting word? Not like last parting word.
Oh my God.
Any last last parting words?
No, I'm so stoked to be here with all these beautiful people.
And will you be here? I feel like that. Will you be here for the next 2 days? Are you
I'm here. I'm here to the end.
Are you going to be here for the Meet the Speakers party?
The whole thing.
Would you like them to come meet you?
Oh, come on.
Can I have one person meet you right now?
Yeah.
Good. Well, I would like to invite Frank just to come up on stage and give you a big hug, if that's all right. Would you guys like that? Excellent. Actually, let's have a seat. You want to have it? Yeah, let's have a seat. Great. What's your story, dude?
I just landed, just got here, room's not ready, I gotta go do my hair and makeup here. And I think I'm doing the closing tonight, right?
Yeah.
So please stick
You
around.
do not want to
But
miss
this
this
young
story.
lady here, what she has done in less than a year, really, is just amazing. And she is gonna branch out. This is gonna be one of those foundations that is gonna branch out, and everywhere that there's Broadway type theaters, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, she's gonna have chapters there. And this young lady has worked and worked and worked. So, and thank you.
It's just amazing how both of you are just such givers, and that's what it's all about. These two are fighting for other people. Do you know what I mean? So I really appreciate both of you.
Thank you, Eric, for having me.
I appreciate it. Give it up for Frank Jenkins, ladies and gentlemen, and the beautiful Jessica Radetsky. And they'll be here tonight and tomorrow as well, so they can answer any hug you and all that stuff. Did you just do, what was that last part, Jessica? What was that? She's so cute. You heard her? She goes, what? I wonder if anyone, who's seen Phantom of the Opera in New York City on Broadway? You may have seen her. Isn't that kind of cool? I think I'm more excited about that than you are. Okay. So, we are so excited. As you can probably tell, I was going to leave that as a surprise, but he walked in right down. Frank's going to be here this afternoon. Okay, are y'all excited about that? So don't, if you need to call your sitter or, just call your kids, say, look, it's not working out that well this afternoon. You're going to have to fend for yourselves. Like, it's just, you're coming in the driver, whatever you need to do. I'll see you in about an hour later. I'm just kidding. Half you. It's so funny, like, 80% of you like my jokes and like 35% of you don't. And 80% of you just got that one. Alright, so, keep it on track. I'm going to bring up, I'm going to introduce a fabulous, awesome marketer, genius on just, this woman is the Wonder Woman of marketing and of network marketing. And is anyone familiar with network marketing? Yeah. I'm not going to steal her thunder on her explaining how she did this, because I believe she'll share that with you. But she's pretty darn amazing. So will you give a warm, awesome San Diego welcome to Laura Harte, ladies and gentlemen. Laura Harte, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. So nice. Well, hi everyone. First of all, I want to thank Eric and all the team for putting me up here and allowing me to speak to you all. I consider it a great honor to be able to be trusted with such a responsibility, so I appreciate that very much, so thank you. My name is Laura Harte, and I always tell everybody it's Laura Hart with an E, because I will always lead with my heart no matter what. And I used to think that that was kind of like a flaw. You know, I'm kind of just like, well, don't wear your heart on your sleeve. I'm like, well, where else am I supposed to keep it? You know? And like, I was always told that you don't keep your gifts to yourself. They're not meant for you, they're for other people, right? So, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a baker. I am a network marketer. I call myself the mom diggity. And the reason why I say that is because my favorite thing that I am a mom of 4 incredible kids. And they are absolutely the best kids in the world. You can say that because they're mine. But I really do believe that. I have really incredible, strong kids, and they are my reason and my purpose for doing anything and everything that I do. So I was raised as a preacher's kid, and I love life. So when people ask me how to describe myself, it's like, well, I'm kind of like Skittles, Pop Rocks, and a little ADD thrown in there. Because I'm bright, colorful, loud, and I have a short attention span. So bear with me, because you never know how all over the place that I will be. But I will tell you that I think life should always be an adventure. And so mine definitely has been. I've been on a show called Cupcake Wars. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, Food Network. Super fun. I had a bakery. I won singing competitions for a show called Gospel Fest and opened up for some pretty great people. And I always think that there's something fun to be chasing, right? Like, there's something cool where it's like, yeah, I wish I could do that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. You're just going to do that, huh? Yeah. Like, I don't know how yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And so I try and show my kids that they can do anything, they can be anything, there's no limits, nobody's better than you, they just have different gifts than you, and you got to figure out what yours are, and then run with that, right? I believe everybody has at least one gift, one thing that they're really, really good at, and that's your purpose. And once you discover what that is, then life is supposed to be so much more fun and enjoyable, and it can be. So one day I was on a show called Cupcake Wars. I was a single mom before, and so I started a bakery. My first 6 months of being opened, I got voted #1 bakery in the state of Indiana. I was on Cupcake Wars, and my bakery got really, really busy. Whenever I show up in the morning, there was a line wrapped around my building. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, why are all these people here? Like, they want donuts? No, they want to get cupcakes. It's like, okay, I need to get a business partner. I needed somebody to help me. I needed some sort of help, right? And so I looked and I searched and I interviewed a lot of people, and I found somebody. She was going to take care of all the books and stuff for me, and, you know, she did. And my grandpa had always said there's only one ship that's sure to sink, and that's a partnership. And I found out that for a little while that was true. I now have an incredible partner, incredible business partner named Sarah. She's this fabulous lady in the front. You guys can say hi to her with purple hair. And so one day I was like, I just had met with these people at the airport, this really large company, and they were going to put my cupcakes in the airport, and then 23 franchises. And it was something I was so excited about. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it. I'm like, Mom, I did it, like, look. And for some reason, I decided to stop by the bank on the way home. I'm like, we're doing really good. Like, I just want to see, you know, like, how good we're doing. And I stopped by there, and I was like, hey, so how much money is in the account? And she's like, oh, I never see you guys in here. So what do you mean? You never see me in there? I was like, no, she leaves every day at like 1 and does a drop. I know, because she leaves. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, we have $634.98. And I was like,
no. Maybe that's my personal account. And I'm like, no, that's not my business account. She's like, I'm sorry, Laura. And that was when I found out that my business partner was stealing from me. Not only did she steal from me money, she stole my dream. And so then I became a stay-at-home mom, because that's what everybody says to do, right? Like, tell you, like, I'm supposed to be soccer mom, there to pick up my kids. And I was thinking about all these things that I had done, and all these things that I had dreamed of being, you know? And I was doing it, like, I was that person. I was so excited, I was on TV, and it was super fun. And so here I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I love being with my kids, so I'm like, okay, it's okay. And so one day I was picking up my girls from school, and I had one of their friends come with them. And she goes over to my oldest, and she goes, Haley, she goes, what are you gonna be when you grow up? She goes, are you gonna be a baker like your mom? Now, picture this. I was thinking, this is my moment. Like, everybody is going to, say, of course, I'm gonna be just like my mom. Like, everybody waits for that one moment where your kids are like super proud of you, and this was it. This was gonna be it for me. And so I was driving in my car, and I could hear the radio on. It was, this is my flag song. And then all of a sudden, I hear, oh no, I'm never gonna own my business. She goes, because all people want to do is steal from you. She said, I'm just gonna get a job. And I remember driving, and I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, wait a minute, what? That was my girl who just said that she wanted to be just like me. She used to want to have her own bakery. She used to want to think that she could do anything, and all of a sudden, I thought because I was doing the same thing that everybody told me that I needed to do, that I was that mom that picks them up and drives them and does all this stuff and waits for them to get out of school. I stole her dream. See, she saw me fall down, but she didn't see me get back up. And I'm like, no, okay. So I drove home, and I dropped the kids off and made an excuse to go to the store. And I was like, God, what are we going to do? I don't even know what I want anymore. How am I supposed to give her dreams if I don't even know what my own are? Because I used to think when people said, well, I just kind of lost myself. Like, where'd you go? I'm like, I see you. Like, what do you mean you lost yourself? I became just mom. I wasn't Laura anymore. I wasn't, the girl who chases after a new dream because she just thinks she can do whatever. I stopped all that because I had my heart broke and my trust was gone. I'm like, how do I get back to that? And so I remember driving in the car, and I was like, God, I just need something. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I'm like, I know that I just need something. Because a few months before that, I went to the doctor, and the doctor goes, Laura, you're sick. What do you mean I'm sick? I'm not sick. I'm just not working right now. Like, there's something just a little bit wrong. I'm not sick. She said, no, you have lupus, and it's not good. I'm like, what does that mean? So she's like, well, don't Google it. So of course I Googled it. And she said, but we need to get you started on treatment. So, okay. And I said, well, what does this look like? She said, well, we think that if we start now and attack it aggressively, she said, there's no cure. She said, but if we attack it aggressively now, she said, we might be able to give you a good quality of life for about 5 years. And I said, well, what after that 5 years? Because I'm a mom. Like, I have 4 kids. I can't not be here. Like, what does that look like? And I'm like, okay. So I'm driving in the car, I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. I have to be able to be here for my kids because, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. I can't go get a job because anybody finds out that I'm sick. They can't hire me as a liability. And I'm an entrepreneur anyways by heart, so I can't sit at a desk. Like, it's impossible. Remember I said I have ADD, self-diagnosed. What do I do? 5 minutes later, I got a phone call. My brother calls and he's like, hey, Laura. He goes, so I just heard about this company. I said, cool, I'm in. He goes, now, have y'all ever heard success loves speed? I love success. And he's like, you don't even know what it is. I said, it doesn't matter, I'm in. He goes, well, I don't know if I'm in. I said, cool, I'm in. What are we doing? And he's like, well, it's network marketing. I go, okay. Okay, I can do that. It's like, all right. Well, here's our plan. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And so I was like, all right. So I sat down on my computer every night, like 3 hours. And I would just message people like, hey, my name's Laura. How's it going? And I wouldn't tell anybody about my product or anything. I just started conversations. Because I remembered that the number one fear people have, other than public speaking, is to sell. They hate the word sell. It's like a bad word. And people think that it's, like, oh my gosh, I hate salespeople. I'm like, cool, I don't sell, I share. Like, if I have something that I think that you need, I'll share it with you. And then if I think you're cool enough, I might give it to you. And then that's cool. And so I figured out that people love it when you have something of value and you feel like you can help them and change their life. If you're ever in lack or in doubt of anything, get into service and it'll change everything. And so I remember sitting there and messaging all these people, and in 4 weeks and 3 days, I hit the top rank in the company, and I hit 6 figures just by being this stay-at-home mom who was told that I was broken and didn't have any dreams or any of that stuff anymore. And I was sitting there, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I did something, and now I'm a leader. And then I was sitting there, I'm like, I'm a leader. I can't be a leader. I don't even know what a leader means. Leaders solve problems. Leaders have confidence, and I don't even have any confidence because I gave it away to somebody back then. And I thought all these bad things about myself, and I didn't even know who I heard them from or when I decided to listen. But I was like, I need to figure out what confidence is. Like, I need to get that back. And I was scared, of course. And so I Googled how to get confidence. Everybody know that Google is the best thing for know-it-alls. I feel like it's the greatest. And so I Googled how to get confidence. And I found this lady on there. And her name was Amy. And she was talking about biochemistry. Now, I love, neat little facts, right? I think our bodies are just absolutely incredible, and I love different things. And she was talking, she's like, you stand in this position for 2 minutes every day, with your hands on your hips like this, in front of the mirror for 2 minutes. It lowers your cortisol and raises your testosterone at the same time simultaneously, which gives your body confidence. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. So I went to the bathroom, and I shut the door so nobody could see me, And I go in the mirror and I'm like, okay. And what I noticed was I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. And I'm like, why? And it was because all these words that I had spoken in my own mind, they were now coming out there too. And I'm like listening to my own thoughts, and I said, I would never let anyone talk to me like that, I'm like, but sometimes we say things to ourselves that we feel like it's okay, right? No, it's not. And so I started to change that. And I decided to get up and grab my shoes. And I saw them there, and I was like, I don't know, how do I fix this? I don't know how to fix this, but I know that words have power. And my words are not powerful enough right now to get me out of this feeling. All these people over here think that I'm a leader, and I have to show them that I am. I gotta show up. So I've got to change the way that I'm talking to myself. I gotta get myself confidence back. So I grabbed a marker, and I wrote on the bottom of my shoes, confidence. I wrote, beautiful, bold, favor, abundance, smart, strong, good mom. I started writing things that I felt like I was in lack of. And I believe that words have power, right? And you are the creator of your own life and your destiny of what words that you have. But sometimes there's something that tries to whisper in your ear a little bit that, you're not these things. And I don't believe that it belongs up here in my ear. I believe belongs under my feet. And so when I put these shoes on, and every step that I take, I'm walking in confidence, I'm walking in favor, I'm walking in boldness, and it changed my entire way that I started thinking. But the thing that I'm the most proud of, because I changed the way I spoke to myself, the way that I walked, when I walk with my shoes on, you can see a completely different person. But the thing that I love the most is if you ask my daughter what she wants to be when she grows up now, she's going to say, I'm going to be just like my mom. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. My 2 oldest girls now have a company that they just sold for $80,000. And if I wouldn't have made this change 2 years ago, she would have just looked for a job. So if there's anything that I could give you out of this time up here, it's your gifts are not for you, and somebody is always watching you. So if you won't do it for you, do it for them. My name is Laura Harte.
Where it just seems that things are so overwhelming, maybe the room is collapsing around us. Is that one step that maybe you've taken in your life that we can apply as a collective for our own moments to get in the right direction?
Well, I always think about it and I was like, well, why was I created? Well, there had to be a purpose for it, right? Like, if by chance I was created for something bigger than what I think right now, then it's my responsibility to find out what that is. I heard somebody tell me, it was like, God doesn't make furniture, He gives you trees. And it's up to your creativity to make something out of what He gave you. And so, for me, whenever I get in this moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, I am no good. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, wait a minute. No. Like, I do know what to do because there is no other option of not doing it. Like, so I just have to change my words. And I tell everybody this all the time, even when I hear somebody talk a negative word, I'm like, whoa, like, watch your words. You're creating this mess right now. I'm like, change it. It's not fake it till you make it. It's faith it till you become it. And whenever you decide to step into something different, then these obstacles that you start to face, the obstacle becomes the way. And that's just something that's meant to grow you, and count it all as good. You know, nothing is meant to come to harm you. It's there to grow you, and you'll learn something from it, so embrace it.
I love that. So powerful, and you shared so many of those moments with us here. So if we experience that, that can maybe be the way to get us, to share that with other people. And now for the second question, I'd like to actually open up to the audience, if you don't mind. Because I know I have more questions, so that means you guys have some questions too, right? So if you do have a question for Laura, can you please raise your hand? Anyone have a question for Laura? And then Ashton can maybe run around a bit. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Brady. Thank you so much for your share. I was actually talking with Brady about just how to be an entrepreneur and a mother at the same time. I'm actually really terrified of being both and not being great at either one of them. So it's really powerful to see that. So I just want to know what kind of advice you would give to someone that is terrified. How about that?
Absolutely. No, I completely understand. Because people are so judgmental, right? And so we put so much pressure. And the thing that I hear all the time, they're like, how do you balance it all? I'm like, stop saying that. First of all, there's no such thing as being able to balance it, right? You are just trying to do your best at all of it, right? But the one thing that I do know is that I include my kids in everything that I do. Normally my kids would be here, and the older girls were gonna come, but they ended up having to do something else. But when you include your kids in things, then they're a part of you, and it doesn't feel like it's just work for you to where it's separate. You know that saying, a family that prays together stays together? Well, the same thing goes in business. A family that grows together, a family that does personal development together, your kids are going to emulate what they see you do, but if they see you including them and they feel a part of that, it's growing them too. Right now is the biggest time for entrepreneurs. Like, it's the biggest movement ever. How many people are entrepreneurs in this room? Okay, do you know that 20 years ago, that wouldn't even have looked like that at all? Because you're just told that when you grow up, it should be a nurse, it should be, somebody who works in a factory, work in sales, insurance, whatever. Just a few things. Your mind is not taught that you have creative abilities that you can use, and it's okay. But nowadays, it's so hugely accepted and pushed. So these kids are entrepreneurs now. My 14 and 15-year-old girls, they're entrepreneurs. They do talks, and so if you include your kids, even in just little things, like if you do a Facebook Live for your business, and just reintroduce yourself to people, it makes such a big difference for you. Because you don't have that pressure, I don't know if I'm a good mom, I'm spending so much time away from here. The thing is that you will be setting an incredible example for what your kids can do and how far they can reach. So be that for them. It's selfish not to. You're welcome.
I'm William, and I am so impressed by what you said. It really touched my heart. I'm an attorney, I'm also a mom, and my question is, how do you deal with the time management? Because I know we've only got 24 hours in a day, you know how that goes.
Time management. Well, my name is Last Minute Laura. So, the only way okay, here's the thing. Everybody asks what the secret to success is, right? I don't know that. I know there's a bunch of them, but I do know the secret to failure is to try and be a people pleaser. So what I did was I had to cancel out everybody that was not for me. So the people that are like, well, yeah, how much do you see your kids? Well, my kids go to bed at 8 o'clock. Good for you. That doesn't fit in our schedule. That doesn't fit in my life. I homeschool my kids. Actually, we call it world school. My kids probably know more than most other kids that are well above their age. And it's because they're getting life experiences and they're around a lot of people like you. So they always say it takes a village to raise kids and all that kind of stuff. But the time management thing, whenever I started to try and figure out how everything works, and I was putting so much pressure on myself that I had to compartmentalize, okay, when do I feel like it's acceptable? Do I really need this much sleep? If I can sacrifice a couple hours at nighttime to work when I put them to bed, then that's going to be the time that I designate for that. If I work in the morning or carve out some other time in the day, I always say if I can put 2 more hours extra into a side business that might be my plan B and turns into my plan A, then I did something great because I'm still making moves. And your kids are going to keep getting older and older and older, but it's the same part of whenever I say about including your kids. My kids, the older girls, I have a little dude that's 4, he's the coolest little thing. And whenever I do Facebook Live or something, the girls will be like, hey, don't worry about it, Mom, we got Jace upstairs. Like, do your live, totally got it. I'm like, okay. Or the kids will come in there and do a live with me and we'll have a chat. People love to see your family. That's why reality shows are so popular, right? People love to see what you're doing. And authentic, real genuineness is what sells. So don't worry about time. Just do what feels good for you and what you feel you have the time for. The pressure, it's not necessary. There's too much pressure on moms. You hear it all the time. And it causes stress. So just let it go.
Great answer, great question, you guys. Thank you. So much pressure, and we create it in our minds.
We do.
So let it go, let it go. Question, do you have a gift for us here today?
I do. So, like I showed you guys, beautiful woman up here in the purple hair, my Sarah. So, Sarah is my business partner, and like I told you guys, we're part of a network marketing company. It's health and wellness. And I never thought I would be in like a health and wellness type of person. Like, you know, I'm just gonna tell you, I live on Tea Crack and Chick-fil-A. So, whenever we found this company, you know, Sarah and I went down to Dallas and we tried some stuff, and we're just like, oh my gosh, this is really good. Wow, I feel really good. And it's just a simple drink. So Eric and some of the other people have absolutely been loving it, and they're like, hey, why don't you guys, you know, send some of these people? So if you'll get with Sarah, she'll take down your name or your address, and we'll mail you some for everybody to be able to try. Or if you're here tomorrow, you can pick it up here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And everyone knows where Sarah is right here. Yes? Okay. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, guys. We're really okay. And if you guys want to talk to her after, please seek her out. And thank you so much for asking your questions. Really, it's important to participate. We want you guys involved as well. And our next speaker, are you guys ready? Okay, still taking off the lunch. I get it, right? Yeah. So our next speaker is Jenny Landon, and she has her own nonprofit. She's also a mom and an author, as well as a speaker. So Growing Out of Grief is her book, and she inspires hope and wellness in those times of crisis before we get to the moments of suicide. So she's going to come up and share her heart with us and her mission, and I really hope that you guys are open and present and about to learn amazing things. So Jenny, everyone give it up, please.
Thank you so much, Laura. So, how's everyone doing right now? Good? Alright. So one of the things that I like to do when I come into a space like this and I share my story is to actually start out by learning a little bit about you. So I'm going to ask you to participate in an activity. It's a commonality exercise, so I can understand who it is I'm speaking with. So I'm going to share some statements with you, and if those statements resonate, I'd like to ask that you please stand and know that you will never be standing alone. I am a parent. I believe my words hold power. I myself, or someone I care about, has struggled with mental health issues. I myself, or someone I care about, has lost a loved one to suicide. My heart goes out to each one of you. My thoughts are with you. Thank you for participating and helping me to know who it is I'm speaking with. So as Laura mentioned, I have a nonprofit called Growing Out of Darkness. The acronym is GOOD. This is the good that I put into the world. What I want to talk to you about today is the power of our words. And I honestly had no idea that Laura Harte was going to be speaking about that as well. As we all know, our words hold power. Through my nonprofit, I try to teach people about intentional living, authentic healing, and meaningful connections. The words we use impact all three of those things. Now, when someone comes to me and talks to me about their own experience, I will never tell them what words they should use. But a couple weeks ago, I was in Dallas and I gave a talk that was mostly about meaningful connections. And afterward, I had all of these people come up to me and want to talk to me about their experience of the loved one who they almost lost, or their own loss, or maybe their own attempt. You'll often hear someone say that their loved one committed suicide. This is a phrase you will never hear me say. I lost my dad to suicide on June 2nd, 1999. I was 20 years old. Now, if I were to tell you that he committed suicide, then it would sound like he made that choice. And I'm here to tell you that he did not. Now, if you're okay, I'd love to share some stories with you. You guys want to hear some stories? Sure. All right. On my website, if you go, you'll see that I have these values that I live by, try to raise my children by, and hopefully inspire others to live by. The very first one is be the village. It means to me that we must surround ourselves with people who will push us past our comfort zone, encourage us during times of self-doubt, and love us even when we feel unlovable. This meaning was inspired by who my dad was to me. So when I was 18 years old, actually no, I wasn't. I was 17, getting ready to graduate from high school. I had stayed up late one night. I was supposed to be getting ready to graduate and move to San Francisco. I'd been raised in East Texas, and one night I decided I can't do this. I can't go to San Francisco. I can't go live with my big sister who terrifies me. And so I went to my dad, and I told him, I'm going to stay here. I'll just go to Texas Tech. I'll go to TCU. I'm not going to San Francisco. In that moment, my dad got very quiet, which is what he did when he was thinking of the right words to use with me. And he said, Jenny, I love you very much. I know why you're scared, but I need you to trust me in this moment when I tell you that you have never belonged here. Your destiny is elsewhere. So all that fear that I had was nothing compared to nothing compared to me wanting to make my dad proud. So I graduated, turned 18. Day after my 18th birthday, I drove to San Francisco. Have any of you ever driven from East Texas, just about as far east as you can go, to California? Yeah? How many hours? 36 hours is what it took of driving time. Alright, so I got out there, felt very proud of myself for being out there. Within a week, I called home and said, I can't do this. Please let me come home. Tammy is much scarier than I remember from when I was little. This is crazy town, I just want to come home. My mom would say to me, okay, Jenny, we'll get you back, don't worry about it. And then my dad would get on the phone. And there was that pause. And I waited for the disappointment. I waited for his words to come out. And I was surprised when he said, what did you do today? Tell me about your day. Who did you see? Who did you talk to? What did you see? What did you eat? You see, my dad was in the military and he trained in Monterey. San Francisco was one of his favorite cities. So he would start talking about his love of San Francisco. And he would tell me these stories and I would become completely enamored. And then he'd say, you know what, I've got something I gotta go take care of. Can we finish this conversation tomorrow? We did this for nearly 6 months. Until I finally discovered that I also loved San Francisco. Now, that piece of, loving someone when they feel unlovable, that was who my dad was to me. Right? I grew up one of 6 kids. I was his baby girl. 6 feet tall. Let me tell you, how many of you remember junior high? How brutal that can be. I I was made fun of every single day. My legs were too skinny, I was too flat-chested, my ears were too big. Things got so bad, my mom actually took me to a plastic surgeon to go get my ears fixed. Now, if you've never been to a plastic surgeon, let me tell you how it goes. You go in, you're thinking they're gonna make me beautiful, I'm gonna now have all these things that I didn't have before. But before that happens, they actually tell you everything that's wrong. So I knew I had the ears. But what I learned that day was not only were they big, but my left ear actually stuck out further than my right. And I was mortified. But I was 12 and I was like, he's gonna fix me and I'm gonna have friends. Until he started explaining the process. And I was terrified. So we went home. My mom told the doctor that we would think about it. We'd get back to him. I cried all afternoon. My dad came home and he knew that I was being picked on. He did not know that my mom was going to take me to a plastic surgeon. He came and he sat down next to me and he said, "Can I tell you a story?" And I groaned. And then he was quiet. And he said, "You know the picture that's in the family room? The one of my grandfather?" And I go, "Yeah, he's got big ears and he loved him." My dad said, "I didn't love him. I loved him. You see, he loved me greater than anyone else had ever loved me, and he pushed me harder than anyone else had ever pushed me. And when he died, I didn't know how to move on. I couldn't breathe. Your mom did everything she could to try to help me get through that. But all I really wanted was to know that he was still with me. 9 months later, you were born with those ears." My dad helped me learn to love myself and every part of myself. His words mattered to me. His moments of silence mattered to me. So, if I were to stand up here and say to you, my dad committed suicide, it just isn't right. I lost my dad to suicide. My dad died from suicide. My dad died battling an illness that so many people don't understand. After my dad died, I was actually in San Francisco getting my degree in psychology. I became a crisis counselor and a public educator. 5 years later, I had my first daughter. I missed all my own signs, postpartum depression, and I became suicidal. I stand here before you today telling you, no one chooses that path. I was fortunate because my husband came home, he found me sitting in the dark, holding our baby girl. And he asked me what was going on. I looked down at her, knowing that she was the only thing keeping me alive. I looked up at him with tears in my eyes and I said, "I'm scared I'm going to die." This is where I can tell you my dad's death, as painful as it was, saved my life. Because in that moment, my dad and his death prepared my husband in how to help me. One, my husband knew to take me serious. He understood what I was saying. And he also knew that after my dad died, I had begun having panic attacks. And that what got me through that was acupuncture. And so he would come home once a week so I could go get acupuncture. And it was through acupuncture that I healed. And so what I would encourage all of you is when you're engaging with someone who is struggling, be there for them. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to have all the right words. But what I would encourage you to do is pause. Speak from a place of love. If your words are coming from a place of love as you engage with this person, then you can't say anything wrong. But know that you can't control how they're going to respond, because they're going through their own struggle. Now, I have a 15-year-old daughter. To come full circle, that little girl who kept me alive 15 years ago, in January, she attempted suicide. She'd been struggling with anxiety for years and then sustained a concussion. Now, I could shut down and keep this a secret because this is my business. This is my nonprofit. It's teaching wellness. How can I stand up on a stage and talk about wellness when my own child was struggling? For those of you who are parents, who are struggling, it is okay for us to talk about it. I encourage us to talk about it, but talk about it in a healthy way. Talk about it in an empowered way. Find alternative ways of healing. Look at nutrition. For my daughter, that moment, as scary as it could be, changed everything for us. Because up to that point, she'd been fighting me, right? She's like, I'm 15 and I don't want to have anything to do with my mom. I don't want to have anything to do with like what she's saying can help me. But after that moment, she was ready, right? So now I sit with her, I talk with her. I mean, I've always done that, but she now will sit with me and speak with me, and we are doing flower essence. We are working with a specialized therapist. We have her signed up for aerial classes, right? It's a whole mind, body, spirit. But I would encourage all of you to think about the words that you're using with people that you are having conversations with. I do have brochures, and I will be here all 3 days. So if anyone, if this has resonated with you and you need a moment, please come find me. And let's talk, let's have a conversation, and let's make a difference in the world by changing the words that we're using so that we can help people to heal. Thank you for your time today.
Changing the conversation, not just with adults, like you lovely people, but with our kids. And the kids that we interact with. Even if you're not a parent, because not parents who interact with kids, right?
Right.
You interact with kids.
Actually, you know what, for this, thank you, first of all, for even asking me, but I actually have my daughter here with me, not my 15-year-old, but my 12-year-old. Hey, Grace, you want to come up? So this is my daughter, Grace. I think that speaking with our youth is critical. And one way that I want to really share a story just about, and I want Grace to be up here because Grace has made an impact on the world around her by being aware of her words. So through my nonprofit and through writing, Growing Through Grief, I have always spoken openly with my children about how my dad died at an age-appropriate level. So when they were really young, what I would say to them is that he died because his brain wasn't well. His brain had gotten sick and it caused him to die. And as they got older, we started using other words and we started talking about suicide. Well, a few years ago, when Grace was only in 4th grade, one of her older classmates from the school died by suicide. We were told by the staff that we were not allowed to discuss it. No one was allowed to talk about what happened. So you can only imagine what happened in the lunchroom was that all the students were talking about it. The second day after it happened, Grace came home and she was in tears. And she said, "Mom, at lunch today there was a boy who was talking about suicide the whole time. And he was saying every way that someone could die by suicide. And then he said, stupid people die by suicide." Right? And Grace told me that in that moment she slammed her hands on the table and she said, "You don't know what you're talking about. This is what my mom does, and people who die by suicide aren't stupid, their brains are not well." You better believe I was in that school the next day saying, my 4th grade daughter is doing more to educate her classmates on mental health than you are. This has to change.
Thank you so much for that story. Jenny, do you have, besides your beautiful story and your insight, a gift to share with all of us?
Yeah, so, okay, I'm very excited because I have a new website, which actually Ron, who's here and will be speaking later, helped me to get that live. So that the last conference, I couldn't even direct everyone to the website because it wasn't working. It is that new. So please feel free to go check out the website, join our community. It is growingoutofdarkness.org. And tomorrow night, I will be here. I will have copies of Growing Through Grief. And I also have brochures. And as I said, if anyone at any point over the next 3 days would like to speak with me, please come find me. I am completely available and here to help anyone in need.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. You guys, one more round of applause.
Woo, thank you guys. Wow. There's been a lot of powerful women in the last couple hours. Super appreciative of that. The next person that we have is another powerful woman, but before I introduce her to you guys, who is feeling inspired? Remember I promised that you guys would feel inspired today? Okay, cool. Okay, some of you guys. A lot of you guys. I'll take it. Okay, so the next person that I have the honor of introducing, her name is Stacy, and she is an amazing woman. She is a transformational coach, very, very heart-centered. And I am so excited to introduce her to you guys. Please give her a round of applause for her. And let's welcome Stacy Allen.
Say yes. Yes. All right. Now, how many of you know that there's more potential for you to tap into within yourself? And once you do, the sky's the limit. Raise your hand if this is you. Okay. Good. Because we're going to talk about today what I like to call living and creating a prosperity amplified life. Now, I've been helping people build their lives, transform their lives, and transform their businesses, whether you're a leader in a company or an entrepreneur, over the last 18 years. And whether I'm working in my group programs or whether I'm coaching people, it doesn't matter. What I found, what I found is that the number one thing that you need to create the success in your life is to connect with your own inner power. Now, I lived in doubt for a very long time. Doubt and fear. Those were my buddies. Growing up, I went to 6 elementary schools and 2 high schools. And no, I didn't have military parents. Probably like some of you, I had divorced parents who couldn't agree on a darn thing. Yeah. All I wanted was to be liked, loved, appreciated, fit in, and frankly not bullied in every school that I went to. Yeah. And this pattern of wanting to fit in then followed me on to college. And now to fit in, I became a party girl. I knew all the best places to go. I knew what was going on. You come to me, I knew what was up. Yeah. And I gotta tell you, I was headed down a pretty rough path. And sometimes, as you all know, when we're headed down a rough path, universe God steps in. I was about to graduate college, September 20th, 1999. I got into a near-death car accident. One where I went all the way through the windshield and back into the car because Grandma's 89 Buick Century didn't have airbags on my seatbelt on. I remember getting out of the car because I thought it was going to blow up, that smell, and laying on the ground and asking, is this it? And I heard a voice like it was speaking directly in my ear. No, Stacy, you have a lot more to do in this life. From there, life would never be the same. I lived for years with a very even face and smile. And I could feel people's instant judgments when they looked at me and they were like, what happened to that girl? What happened to her face? This was my first deep dive into personal growth and development because I had to learn how to love myself from within because I didn't like what I looked like on the outside. Now, I pray that none of you have been in a bad car accident or, heaven forbid, a near-death accident, but we all go through struggle, right? And we all experience adversity in life, yes? And it's what we do after that matters, right? It's how, when we fall, we brush ourselves up, we get back up, and we move again in a direction that's more for our highest good in that moment. Now, I did go back to college and I graduated. And I actually got first straight A's for the first time ever once I went back. But patterns, sometimes patterns follow us, right, until we acknowledge them. So from there, I thought to be successful, I moved to a big city. I was from St. Louis, Missouri. I moved to Chicago. And now I started working my way up this corporate ladder because that's what success meant, right? Small business, medium business, Fortune 500 corporation. I was making a lot of money for a lot of people. And in turn, I was doing pretty good. I had the downtown condo. Yeah, you're smiling. I was too. I had the nice car. From the outside in, it was great. But within, I was miserable. I was working 70-hour weeks. I didn't see anybody dating. What's dating? I was in my 20s. I didn't get out much. So I knew that something had to change. And then once again, hello, I got let go from my Fortune 500 company. Blessing in disguise. And guess where I got to move? San Diego. Yeah. And so that's where I took my second big deep dive into personal growth and development. And I got here and I'm like, you know what? There's more to life. Why am I here? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What is my purpose? You know, when you've been done like this. Yeah. And so, this is where everything came together. And now I said, okay, I could take everything from where I've been, all of my business experience, all this growth. As we all know, it never ends, right? Yeah. And now I can help people, right? Help them gain lives. And so that's what I've been doing. And so there's some main ways in which to live. You can step into this space. And one is that you must have a mindset and energy upgrade. I call that IO leadership. Right? Leading from the inside out. So since we were born up until age 7, we all have belief systems that we have learned from our guardians, from the environment, from how we were raised. These become our stories that we then carry out throughout our lives. And our stories become our patterns. Patterns become our habits. Our habits become our attitude towards life, our attitudes, right? And then we start living these things out day in and day out until we acknowledge when something in life isn't working. But most of the time, we're not even in the present. We're in the past thinking about things we could have done, should have done differently. Or we're in the future, thinking about who we want to be, what do we want to do, what do we want to become. We're seldom in this present moment. And in this present moment, there isn't anything wrong. So I want you all to take a breath with me right now. In through the stomach, all the way up, and then we're going to let it out slowly. Okay, in that moment, were you nervous she was going to steal your oxygen? No? Were you nervous there wasn't enough oxygen to go around? No? Yeah, see? Because there's plenty and there's abundance everywhere. We just have to tap into that. Yeah. But oftentimes what comes up? Fear. Yeah? And fear can rear its head in many ways. Fear can look like overwhelm, procrastination, anxiety, comparison. And I don't believe we can beat fear, but we can learn how to move through it. Yeah. So one of the ways, besides getting to your breath, is also getting into gratitude. You all are here today. That's something to be grateful for. You're investing in yourself just by being here. Yeah? And you probably came from a house, and you have a car. But what about the ordinary things? We're always striving for extraordinary. How much more grateful can you get for the ordinary? Like that pen and paper in your lap. Yeah. And what about, any of you work from home sometimes? Yeah. Or even at work. Do you go out and take a walk during the day? Yeah? Some of you yes, some of you no. Guys, get outside. Go take a quick break. Anytime you feel anxiety and fear and overwhelm, if you go outside and walk around the block, feel the wind against your hair, smell the roses, that can automatically transform your state right away. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I turn on the radio and I get down, in the middle of the day. Why? Because it feels good. Yeah. I had a client, Kevin, who was a financial advisor, and he started doing a lot of this work, and it's amazing what happens. He was living in St. Louis, Missouri, and as we stepped in, his dream job opened in Colorado. He moved to Colorado and now was able to manage more of his own book of business. His soulmate relationship opened up for him. Like possibility opened. And one of the things we love doing were affirmations. Yeah, you familiar with affirmations, anyone? Yeah? Let's play with this a second. I want you to look at your neighbor next to you. Come on. And repeat after me. I am amazing. I am ready, willing, and able to do all that I want in this life. I am the bomb, and don't you forget it. All right, touch it. All right. So guys, that might have felt funny, but guess what? You're smiling, and you feel good. And when you're smiling and you're in this energy, you're automatically uplifted. And when you feel good, you start to attract more of what you want to you. Yes? Yes. So the second part of this is you must become a relationship master. Now you've heard some of us talk about that today, and we've gotten into that, and we all know that it's important the people we surround ourselves with, that they're positive, they're uplifting. But I'm going to ask you, how much more vulnerable can you get in your relationships? Dr. Brene Brown dispels this myth because many of us think that being vulnerable is a weakness. We were raised that way. And being vulnerable is taking a risk. The very definition of it, taking a risk, the unknown, and being emotionally exposed. And let me ask you, when's the last time you were courageous did something courageous and you didn't take a risk, or emotionally exposed, or didn't have stepped into the unknown. They go hand in hand together. Yeah? Yeah. People want to know you. We're so bombarded with social media and, you need this to get better, and you need this. When in reality, relationships are currency, right? Relationships are everything. So how much more open can you get when you're connecting with somebody? And then let's say you're at an event like this, and you connect with somebody and you're like, oh yeah, man, let's follow up after this. And you get home and then what happens? You don't, right? Neither of you follow up. You know what happens then? Anything? Yeah, nothing. That's exactly nothing. Yeah. And you know what else that creates is an open energy loop. And you know what that does? Gives away your power. So look at all the spaces in your life with people that you've committed to something and you haven't stood in your own integrity and followed through on that. Close the loopholes in your life. These loopholes are both within yourself and within others. Yeah. So here's what I know, guys. Everything in your life is interconnected. Who you are, your emotional being, your mental, your physical, your spiritual side, everything is interconnected. So whether you are excited and enjoy or not, that'll ultimately affect you and your business. The famous Jim Rohn says, do as much work on yourself as you do your business. He says, you can work hard and make a living, or you can work hard on yourself and make a fortune. Which do you want? Yeah. These are all part of what I call creating this prosperity amplified life. But I don't want to just talk to you about this. I want you to experience the energy around this. You down? Down. Yeah? Down? Okay, so first, let's all get aware of where we are right now. Everyone close your eyes. Tune in. And just feel into what's going on within your body. You might, you've had a lot of things go on today. You've talked to a lot of people. You might be feeling a little overwhelmed with information, with content. You may have to go to the bathroom right now. I don't know. But just tune into whatever's happening within and be okay with that. It's okay. We're just acknowledging that, where you are right now. Okay, you got that? Now, open your eyes and we're going to stand up. Okay. And open your hands to receive. Yes. Okay. And now, repeat. Let's see. Open your hands. Yeah. Now I want you to close your eyes one more time, and we're going to tune in. And I want you to visualize this with me. You are waking up in the morning, and you're jumping out of bed, and you feel amazing. Your health is in order. You are going into your car. You're getting to work very early. You're loving your life. You're loving what's happening. You get into work. Your colleagues are there. They're giving you high fives. They love working with you. You're on the phone with clients. You are making a difference in their life with the clients. They are so happy connecting with you, talking with you. And you go and you look at the screen in your bank account. There's money flowing into you right now, effortlessly. All of this is feeling amazing. You feel amazing where you are right here, right now. Can you take a breath into that? Yes. And now open your eyes. And we're going to anchor this right now, right here, right now. So repeat after me. I am so grateful for more good than I've ever imagined. I am so grateful that I have more prosperity than I've ever dreamt of. Divine health and wealth is my birthright. I am rising and I accept this now. So be it. All right. Thank you. Now can you look handsome?
Wow. applause. Hi, I don't know, but I felt the energy just get amazing in here. And you guys were like smiling, visualizing this goodness happening in your life. And thank you for introducing us to that today. And we're actually curious, how did this meditation and visualization journey start for you? And like, what type of impact has that had on you?
So, I grew up in a family where my mom was very much into personal growth and development, and the visualization came at a very young age. My dad too, they'd say, "Girl, you go up there." I was in dance contest. Go up there and put on that happy face and see yourself getting this, see yourself getting the award. Now, I didn't always get the award, but I got very used to visualizing things prior to happening. And the meditation's something that, I gotta tell you guys, I don't know, do any of you meditate here? Sometimes? Yeah. That changed my life. I mean, and if you, whether you are or aren't, just taking a few moments during the day and starting just a breath practice and becoming more aware of your breath is something that we all take for granted. You know, whenever you're in fear or doubt or trust, you'll notice you have shallow breath kicking. So notice that next time and just try to tap in, because just even taking a few breaths a day can automatically shift your state. And
Yeah, thank you. And I know you definitely walk your talk, because you were meditating back there and like, oh, maybe I should too. And I heard that you have some amazing gifts to share with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So, does anybody want a copy of those affirmations that I was talking about, some powerful affirmations? Okay, so get out your phones. Yeah, phone. Abundance. Yeah. Hey, goodies. All right, so we're going to create a new text to 88202. And then in the message, you're going to write gift. And you're going to get a text message back right away. And then I need your first name and your email. Don't forget your first name and your email. So if I don't have that, my team can't give this to you. Got it? Correct. Yeah, 88202.
Could you repeat the number for us one more time?
88202. Gift. And then I need your first name and your email. Yeah. And then the second, I'm all about taking inspired action now. So this is one thing. And the second is I'm really excited to offer at least 10 of you a breakthrough session. So on this session, we're going to look at what's going on for you right now, whether it's in your life or in your business. We're going to talk about ways in which you can move through that. And then I'll give you some steps that you can use right away, strategies, tools that you can take with you and use right away in your life and business. So I have forms right there on the table in back. Normally this is 547, but I'm going to be giving away 10 of these. So if you fill out a form, I'm going to be giving that to you, within the next week. So all you have to do is go back there, and I'll be back there, and I want to give you a hug too. Yeah, I like hugs too. I know Sean got a lot of hugs.
Well, thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you here. Stacy, Ellen, everybody.
What's up, Stacy, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Am I the most excited person in the room here, or what? What's up? Alright guys, hold on. Where are you guys going? I don't want people to get up and go anywhere. We're not taking a break yet. Oh, Stacy just bringing a break. How did we do that, Stacy? So we're gonna go, hey guys, cut the music for a second, take a look at Stacy in the back there. Everyone look at her. Stacy's right there, and she's gonna be there after the break. Well, no, wait. During the break. After now. What? I'm not breaking up on anybody. Okay. Mike. I like this mic. Alright. Stacy Ellen, you somehow developed a break for us that we weren't taking a break. So will you let those three ladies right in front of you say, hey, go sit down and come right back. I called you out, not them. This is a much better mic, I like it. Here's the deal, we're gonna take a break after the next speaker because the speaker is, he flew in, he's gonna fly out, he's here to help you guys. He's pretty darn amazing. You guys ready? Yeah. How ready? Super ready. I need some energy. Need some energy. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. So, here's the scoop. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have our next speaker, and then we're gonna take a break right after him. You're not gonna wanna miss that, by the way. He might have a gift for you. And Stacy's gonna be here during that next break as well. And then we have two more. You guys know, I told you who is coming. You guys met one of them, didn't you? Oh my gosh. Who's like, look at me, right in my eyes. Go ahead, look at me more in my eyes. Okay. Like burn thing. Yeah, not like that, sir. That was weird.
Too much.
How many of y'all are here till the end of the night tonight? Not like midnight, but the end of this show here tonight. Two more speakers after this. Okay, great. Don't move, don't leave. We'll let you pee in a little bit. Don't pee now. Don't do it now. Alright, here's the scoop. I'm going to bring him up right now. Before I bring him up, we're going to play a quick intro video. Let's go to the next slide first. This gentleman's a cool dude. He's from Texas. I don't know if you're from Texas, but you live there. He's been on Undercover Boss. How many of y'all are familiar with Undercover Boss? How many of y'all are familiar with one of the first reality shows in real estate, Flip This House? Well, we got Armando Montelongo. We're going to check out a quick video, and let's start that right now.
Each year and leading educational seminars across the country. Real estate mogul Armando Montelongo is the single largest house flipper in America.
Armando gave me $30,000.
I gotta find a way to either make them believe in my system or get them the hell out of my company.
Did something stupid at my job.
I'm never like that. I don't even know about the house. This attitude is a huge problem for my company.
So this is a steal. My name is Armando Montelongo. I'm in this business for the adrenaline rush. Somebody needs to clean this house.
Yeah.
Not gonna be daddy, but somebody wants to clean it. We gotta go find somebody else. Let's go, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, give me this.
There's nothing wrong with this pool. This pool's solid. Everything's working here great. Look. Okay? Give me some water. You stink, bitch. On my face, on my face. Come on now. Man, it's classic. Today was the greatest demo day ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm, awesome, happy to work, San Diego, welcome to this Armando Montelongo. How you guys doing today? How you guys feeling? You guys doing good? You guys doing great? So if you're a powerful woman, raise your hand. If you're a powerful man, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're completely confused because you're in California and you know what the hell you are. All right. All right. Listen, if you saw my HR staff, you know we hire anybody and everybody. We really get a deal. So, right now we're in the age of social media. So, will you guys be willing to help me out for a little bit? Will you guys help me out with my social media? So I have a big following on Instagram. So I'm gonna do a little video. You guys will help me out? So I'm gonna go and record them and say, we're at Habitude Warrior in San Diego, and San Diego rocks, okay? So we're gonna try this one time, all right? So we're at Habitude Warrior in San Diego, and San Diego rocks. And if we do it like that, we're gonna look like we suck. All right, so everybody up. All right, stand up. And the only people not standing up
up are those who are America's Most Wanted, so I get it. So if you're standing next to somebody who's still sitting down, be very, very careful. All right, let's try this again. This is going to be a practice one. So I'm going to go and say, we're in San Diego at Habitude Warrior and San Diego Rocks, and you're going to go. And the scale of 1 to 10, that was a 6. Are you guys ready to take it to a level 10? No or yes? Oh, come on, you guys came here. Think about the name Habitude Warrior. It's the great habits. Some of you guys will say, yeah, that's bullshit. I just want to get to the making money part. I can tell you, we can try to make money. We've done over $1 billion in real estate. And even if you're not interested in doing real estate, we can show you how to make a lot of money. But I know a lot of people who made a lot of money, they're boring and broke, and I know a lot of people who are poor and boring and broke. We're not going to do either one. You guys down for this? So you guys ready? Who's ready to take this on a scale of 1 to 10? Raise your hand. Here we go. We're at Habitude Warrior and San Diego Rock. Give yourself a big hand. So, it's funny because I think on the TV shows, we do a massive disservice about real estate. And for those of you who are not interested in doing real estate whatsoever, then you're just like I was. I had no interest in doing real estate. I wanted to do television production, and I wanted to be a public speaker. But I had nothing to speak about because I was dead broke. And for those of you who are not interested in doing real estate at all, then I think you're going to like what we have here to say today. Because you're going to find out that 92% of America's wealthiest people have made or no cursing please. Okay, thanks. Did I already curse? Okay. So, he said no cursing please. All right. Here we go. Boom. All right. Christian voice. Here we go. All right, good boy. Personal censor. There we go. Thank you. Usually people say, well, your fly's down. Like it knows all the time, saying your fly's down. All the time people like come in my nose, like your fly's down. I'm like, well, the damn thing's got a mind of its own. Like, what do you want me to do? Here we go. So, some of you still trying to catch up to what just happened? That's okay. All right. But here's what happens. Here we are, and we do a massive disservice to people who even watch the TV shows on real estate. And it's for a couple of reasons. One, we make it look way too more difficult than what it really is. And two, everybody who watches the TV shows wants to be a decorator or a realtor. And there's no money being a decorator. And for those of you who are realtors, you know that there's real no long-term financial freedom in being a realtor. And I remember when I went out there and started doing real estate, I thought, man, I can't go do this stuff. And what I've discovered, and over the years, there's really only 1 or 4 reasons why somebody won't do real estate or get involved in real estate. Number 1, they think they have no time. Number 2, they think they have no money. Number 3, they think they need a license. And number 4, they think they need some sort of like specialized knowledge to do this. And so I have these students by the name of Paul and Sunday. And Paul and Sunday are hospital administrators. So they work like 70 hours a week. And they work 70 hours a week because they truly enjoy helping people. But they also like their freedom. And so Paul and Sunday, they came to our events, they paid us a bunch of money, they paid me like over $10,000, and they went and flipped 52 houses, and they own 55 properties. By the way, they live in California. And they just came back from a 10-week, 11-country vacation, including Nepal, Indonesia, where they adopted a baby elephant for a day, and went to South Africa and swam with the sharks. By show of hands, how many of you would like a hell of a lot more freedom? Raise your hand and say yes. By show of hands, how would you like to know that your bills are going to be paid? Raise your hand and say yes. And here's the interesting thing. Because California is a unique market. So when I come to California, people say, well, our market's unique, or San Diego's unique. Guess what happens when I go to New York? Our market's unique. San Diego's unique, or New York unique. Guess what happens when I go to Texas? Our market's unique. Guess what happens when I go to Baton Rouge? Our market's unique. And what's interesting, because I've been doing this and teaching this stuff since literally 2006, every market I go into, people think that the market's unique or it's difficult to do deals. And that's because they haven't had specialized knowledge and or specialized training. So somebody might have made a couple $1 million in real estate, congratulations. But the reality of the situation is this. If you're having a hard time finding deals, it's you have a systematic error, a systematic issue, a systematic problem for finding deals. And if you don't realize that right now there's tax liens and tax deeds in your state that are at a default rate, at one of the highest default rates since 2007, then you're missing out on the fortune of a lifetime. How many of you went out there and bought real estate in 08, 09 right here in this marketplace? Because I did. And of all, how many of you guys lived here in 08, 09? Raise your hand. You should all be multi-millionaires. Because when it crashed in San Diego, it crashed hard. And we came here and we bought up the city. And I'm telling you that right now, in this marketplace, there is an opportunity like it looked in 06 and 07 because it's coming. And you guys can make a tremendous amount of money. How many of you guys think San Diego's overvalued right now? How many guys are having a hard time, if you're even involved in real estate, finding deals? Or how many of you think, shit, I can't even go do this because I can't put the money together, or I can't even find the deals whatsoever? And that's because there's a systematic error, systematic issue in what you're doing. Part of it comes from a belief system. And that belief system we create it when we do television. When we do television, we go make it as hard as possible so it's as entertaining as possible because it's really boring driving around in your Mercedes making $50,000 on a house going, I did it again. Does that make sense to you guys? No or yes? So, the second reason people won't do real estate is they think it takes a lot of money to do real estate. I didn't have any money when I started. I lived in a garage on food stamps. I was poor than any of you here. Some people say, I'm way poorer than you'll ever be. It is not a badge of honor to be broke. I literally lived in a garage on food stamps. And now I'm the top 0.001% of all income earners in the country. And I'm going to tell you this. From being poor and living in a garage to having lots of money, it sucks being broke. But to have a lot of money, you can help a tremendous amount of people. But I never imagined it was going to happen when I lived in a garage on food stamps. You see, there's something out there called asset-based lenders that some of you guys have probably tried to talk to, but they won't talk to you because they don't know your language, you don't know their language, and they don't know what you're really looking for. And I'm going to tell you about asset-based lenders a little bit later on. What I'm going to tell you is this, that they'll loan anybody in this room on a real estate deal that's a good real estate deal right in your area, as long as you're not in bankruptcy. And if you are in bankruptcy, our company can show you 2 ways to get that bankruptcy discharged, clean up your credit, and go get an asset-based loan for a deal. How many of you guys like the idea of that? Raise your hand. Okay? How many of you guys don't like the idea of that? Raise your hand. How many of you, no matter what I say, are not going to raise your hand? The stubborn ones, no, I'm not going to do it because I'm different and I'm unique. So what happens is this. These asset-based lenders, they will go out there and they'll loan you money on a deal that you're going to buy here, put a little bit of construction in it. By the way, they'll loan you 100% of the deal in some cases, and you sell the house up here, and you take all the profit out of the middle of the deal. And here's the craziest thing, is they want to loan you money on deals, they just want to make sure one thing, that you're knowledgeable, that you know what the hell you're doing, because you're a risk. So if you don't know what you're doing, they see you as a risk. If you do know what you're doing, they'll say, I'll loan you money for your first deal. So I lived in a garage on food stamps, and I didn't have any money for a deal. But because I knew how to find the deals, I knew how to get an asset-based lender, I went out there and I made $34,000 on my first deal. And I'm going to tell you something. I wasn't in love with real estate. But I remember, when I saw that first $34,000 check, suddenly I was in love with real estate. I was like, oh, I love you so much, got that check, it's rubbing it everywhere. I'll stop here, Eric. So, the third thing is people think you have to have a license to do this. I don't have a license. So I've been doing this for 17 years, so I've been doing this since 2001, so 18 years. And I don't have a license, I've never had a license doing this. So you don't have to have a license to do it. If you are a realtor, it's not going to hinder you, because we'll show you how to use your license to do better. And if you're not a realtor, you don't have to have a license, but I've never had a license doing this. But I will tell you what I have, is I have specialized knowledge. You see, I have something in here that none of you guys have, not vodka. I have something here that none of you guys have. I have 3 masters in business. So I have 3 masters in business from Harvard. I have 2 law degrees, and I have 1 accounting degree. And they are all on payroll and work right down the hall from me. And these guys at Harvard, here's what they tell me. You see, right now in the next 5 years, in the next 3 to 5 years, what's going to happen is there's software that's being created that's replacing doctors, replacing lawyers, and replacing realtors. And I hate to tell you if you're a realtor, but your gig's almost up. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if you don't think that's going to happen, then I have 2 little companies you've never heard of, Uber and Airbnb. And they're massively shifting the marketplace. And if you're a realtor right now, you must look for a new gig. I mean, you're out there earning 1, 2, or 3% on the same types of deals. My students in this area are earning $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And you're doing a lot more work for those deals. And by the way, ladies, you're out there showing houses to weirdos on the weekend. Why would you do that? You're going to a house with total strangers when you can be owning the house, owning the deal, owning the commission, and getting all the profits. How many of you guys think that's a way better way to be living? And by the way, truly making your own schedule. Like truly making your own schedule. Because I can promise you this, every single one of you who is in this room is going to drive by $50,000 to $60,000 of profit tonight on your way home, guaranteed. And if you think it can't be done, you're 100% right. But I will tell you this, for those of you who go, man, I know I need more, I can have more, and I can deserve more. I can be more. I'm going to tell you this, there's massive profits that are in this property, that are in this, and they're right here in your neck of the woods. And the fourth thing is people need to have some sort of like specialized knowledge. Like they have to have like a construction background, or they have like special decorating ability, right? I'm gonna tell you, like I don't know anything about construction. If you ask me to build that wall, I can't build that wall. But it sure as hell can tell somebody how long it should take and how much it should cost. And if you think like, hey, you're a great decorator, you may be a great decorator, but he may not like your decorating ability. I know it's crazy because you think you're making amazing decorating. But see, we've been doing real estate in this area, San Diego area, since 2008. So we know what the buyer's like. So I'm not just some guy who just flew in from Texas who's never done deals for real estate here. We've been doing business in your neck of the woods since 2008. When people were running out of San Diego, we were running in San Diego. We were rebuilding your economy before it was time. And you might say, Armando, yeah, you're the reason the house is so damn high. And I'm going to say you're damn right. How many guys thought in 2008 gas prices were too high? Raise your hand. What if you owned 100 oil rigs? You see, the question is what side of the equation are you going to be on? Because you're going to be on one or the other. You see? And it's interesting because we know who the buyers are. So we know how to cater the houses to the buyers. So let me ask you a question. Who buys houses, men or women? Raise your hand if you think women buy houses. All right? Put your hands up. All right? Raise your hand if you think men buy houses. Put your hands up. All right? Keep your hands up. There's all the gay or single men in the house. All right? Women buy houses. Men don't buy houses. Women are the decision makers. You want to prove it to you? Watch this. Men, you're going to go buy a house. You love the garage. Your wife hates the kitchen. Are you buying that house? No. You're like, you're okay with the garage. Your wife loves the kitchen. Are you buying that house? Oh, yeah, all day long. He says, no. You single? No, he's not. I'm not inquiring for my own interest. Do you understand this, okay? I go, is he single? She goes, no, he's not. I'm not interested. It's cool, right? I got 4 kids. I'm good. So you're with him? Yeah. She loves the kitchen. You hate the garage. Or you're okay with the garage. You're buying the house. Yeah? Look. Yeah? Yeah, why don't you look in the eyes and tell her that? Watch this. Watch this. How long have you guys been together? Going on 4 years? Yeah, not much longer. Keep that up, all right? That's the answer. Here's the reality of the situation. Women buy houses. And women are the decision makers. So we know what kind of color cabinets they want. We know what kind of flooring they want. We know every component that they want. So the houses will sell like this. So why would you ever go out there and try to make a decision on what's been made when our company has done over $1 billion in real estate? Now, that's $1 billion with a B, and let's be clear about this. For those of you guys who've done real estate, and you've done $1 million, so you're like, oh, I'm really great because I've done $1 million, so congratulations. But $1 million, if you put it in terms of time, if you go back in time, it's 12 days. If you go and you do $1 billion in terms of time, that's 37 years. And so what we've done is we systemize real estate. My 20-year-old son right now, if you just want to know, my 20-year-old son is running 17 deals, like 17 flips. He's 20 years old. I tried to put him in college, he dropped out. You want to know why? He goes, I'm having a hell of a time listening to my professor, Armando, or Dad. I'm having a hell of a time listening to my professor when I make more money than the professor does. How many of you guys want more rich people problems? Raise your hand and say yes. And this is real. Like, these are real deals that are going on. He's got one deal right now. He's making $60,000 on a single deal. Think about what you can do that with your life. If you just did 3 or 4 a year. And for those of you who said, man, that can't be done in San Diego, really? Do you realize I have a large real estate network in San Diego, as well as a large real estate network in the country? And the network that we have, the network we do, we've been teaching people how to do this business right in your neck of the woods. So when you drive home, there will be deals that you pass up that are worth $50,000 to $60,000 all damn day long. Pre-foreclosures, NODs, bankruptcies, demolition houses. Do you realize the city will go out there and knock down houses because of liens and permits? You You can buy those liens and permits and buy the house, because your homestead laws here completely suck. It's tougher to do it in Texas, but here the homeowners are not protected. And so you can go buy these houses directly from the city. It's amazing. But people don't, it's interesting because people draw assumptions of what can be done. Your renters are more protected than your homeowners. How many of you guys know that by show of hands? It's insane, right? So you guys have visitors from over south, right? They hop the fence, they come over, they move into your house. You cannot evict them, do you understand this? But your homeowners don't have the same rights. And you can go buy these houses from foreclosure, you can give a family some money to move. So I had this single mom, 4 children. I put her into a house, no way would finance her. Single mom with 4 children. I put her into her house. 2 days later after she closes, her children come, she comes to my house and she's crying. And she's crying her eyes out. And I'm like, oh my God, like, did we do something wrong? Like, what happened? And she's crying her eyes out. And her oldest daughter says, my mom doesn't speak English, I don't speak Spanish. I know you think I do, but I don't. And she says, my father left us when my youngest brother was born. He had left us 4 days later. There's 4 of us. She worked 3 jobs to support all of us. First time somebody gave her a house. We just wanted to, as our children, come and say thank you for it. You're never going to take advantage of people. If you're one of those people who takes advantage of people, I'll kick you out of my network. Because I'm going to tell you something. You have to be able to help people, be willing to help yourself, and you have to be willing to have some fun doing it. How many of you guys think that's pretty okay? Now I'm going to tell you this much. It wasn't always great for us though. Before I got started in real estate, we were living in Upland, California, and my wife Veronica, when she gave birth to my son, Landon, the doctors literally cut her the wrong way. And she lost half the blood in her body. And I remember as they were wheeling her off to the emergency room, her face was white and her lips were blue. And the doctor says, Armando, be prepared to say goodbye, because your wife may not live past the next 24 hours. And as she came back, and she was there in the intensive care unit, and I sat next to her bed, and she was there breathing slowly. A nurse comes rushing in and says, Mr. Montelongo. Now you know there's a problem when your spouse is in the intensive care unit, and they tell you you have a bigger problem. She says, your son has been taken from Upland down to Children's of LA by ambulance. She says, you must go now. And I rushed down to Children's of LA, and I was torn. And then let me just tell you, that was one of the biggest decisions I've ever made in my life. My wife is here, my son's at Children's of LA, like, what do I do, where do I go? I'm talking about your heart being ripped wide open. And my father all the time says, we'll stay with our child, we'll stay with our daughter, you go see your son. And I rushed down to my son, and I rushed to the hospital room, and the doctor says, Mr. Montelongo, we have a problem. He says, your son only has 8,000 platelets. The average healthy human has 300,000 platelets. And those platelets are what help blood coagulate. So if he was to, let's say, get cut, or he said, if we bumped his head, or heaven forbid, if he just cried too hard, he could bleed to death in a matter of minutes. He says, Armando, be prepared to say goodbye, because your son, Armando, may not live past the next 24 hours. And I was told on the same day that the 2 people that I care about the most in this world may not live past the next 24 hours. Now that was a tough day. But by silent show of hands, how many of you have had tough days? You see, and I believe it's not those days that define who we are. I believe it's what we do with those days that define who we are. If you believe it's what we do with those days that define who we are, raise your hand and say yes. Oh, I can hear you. Raise your hand and say yes. It's not those moments. It's what we do with those moments that are going to define who we are. It's how you're going to be remembered, but more importantly, it's how you're going to remember yourself. Yes, I was here, but I went to here. I have a level of resilience in me, because that's why you're really here. Let's just get clear. You're not here for more money. You're not here for more motivation. What you're here for is to define who you truly are. Define deep in your soul who you really are and what you can be. Eric, I almost let the F word fall. But here's the thing. It takes a successful life to do that. And you know what a successful life it takes? Money. Because that's how you're going to explore the travel, the freedom, and And for those of you guys who think love is not going to go and enhance your relationship, or money's not going to enhance your relationship, it will. We're too bought in to what the media tells us. You know, in the movies, the rich guy never gets the girl, it's always the poor guy. You know the Titanic? Like, when did that ever happen? You're gonna tell me that the girl's gonna go with the poor guy, she's going to stow away when she's got a rich guy there? That doesn't happen in real life. People say, oh, money can't buy you love, really? Just go to Vegas with me, see what happens. And here's the interesting thing. I remember, my mentor went and said, see, I met this man, because I used to daydream. How many of you are daydreamers? Raise your hand. Those are people who say you shouldn't daydream, don't realize there's things like the iPhone, these things like hotels, there's things like these computers, because every single one of those objects started with a daydream. Somebody had a daydream that everyone else told them was crazy. But the biggest enemy is usually you. Usually you just say that you're crazy and it'll never work. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. I travel around the country, I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people. And that's usually the saddest thing in the world. And I see that people have so much damn potential. Like, I have these two guys, this one guy and a girl, they actually got married. He was in special needs in school. He's 27 years old. Do you realize he owns a 78,000 square foot commercial building that's rents out? That he's making about $30,000 a month with the net profit? This dude's in special needs. He went to one of my classes. His wife, totally attracted to him, totally loved him. She retired at age 25. Guess what she was in school? Special needs. But I looked at him, they're as normal as hell. Nobody just gave him a chance. But I have rocket scientists that come to our stuff. I have college educated people, I have smart people, I have dumb people. But like, if you don't know 6th grade math, you can't do this, but guess what? You're screwed anyways. Do you understand this? But if you know 6th grade math, and you can follow a step-by-step system, you don't want to set your ego aside and color by number, I can show you how to make a hell of a lot of money in this real estate. And some of you guys might say, yeah, why? What's your vested interest? It's funny, because I went out there, and I'll tell you what my vested interest is in a little bit. But this is my vested interest, because I have an evil plan. And I have some of you guys be a part of my evil plan. That's what it is. I got an evil plan. So I met this man, because I like to daydream. I go to buy all the rich people houses in Corona, California. That was what we considered rich, because I was from Riverside. And I remember, I was sitting by these mansions. Well, I thought they were mansions. It was a hilltop home. It was 7.1 acres, 3,500 square foot hilltop home. And I met this man, and the man says, let me show you how to do real estate. He goes, you can buy this house, I'll finance you. $2,500 down, $2,500 a month. You can buy it for $999,000. And when you do, it's going to sell for $2 million, or you'll make $2 million off of it. I said, wait, run that by me again, because I'm going to finance you on this deal. I'm going to mentor you through the process. You're going to buy this house for $2,500 down, $2,500 a month. Buy it for $999,000, and we sell it, you're going to make $2 million. And guess what? I was stoked. I went home, and I told my family, I said, this man is going to be my mentor. He says, I go out there, he goes, I can buy this house for $2,500 down, $2,500 a month. And I can make $2 million. And what do you think my family said? It's such a good deal. Why didn't your mentor doing it? Because they were skeptical. The highest price you'll ever pay is the price of skepticism. You're going to have to worry of it. You're here because you know skepticism needs to go. It cannot be in your vocabulary, it cannot be in your mind. You guys want to hear about the stupidest deal I ever did in real estate? You don't want to hear it? I'm going to tell you. You guys want to hear about the dumbest real estate deal I've ever done? I listened to my family, who was broke, and I listened to my friends who were broke, and I listened to myself who was broke, and I didn't do that deal. And that property sold for $3.6 million. That was a $2.6 million mistake. That was the most expensive seminar I've ever been to in my life. And I remember, my mentor was worth $100 million. Like, he didn't need the money. But he goes, I choose people to mentor every couple of years because I see something in people. And it's funny, but we buy into like cliches. Some people will say, yeah, more money, more problems. You understand when we start quoting rappers, we're totally screwed, right? There's guys like me who finance the rapper's life. You guys know Fat Joe? He's not good anymore because he's skinny. But when he was Fat Joe, he was good. So I hired him to do one of my parties, my company party. I hired Fat Joe. After the company party, he hits me up and says, Mondo. I was like, you can't call me Mondo, it's Armando, Fat Joe. I had to put Joe on there because if I just said fat, it'd be like offensive, right? I said, Fat Joe, I'm not going to go give you $300,000 because he wanted $300,000 to finance 2 of his singles. 1 month later, he was in bankruptcy. What was he trying to get me to do? finance him out of bankruptcy is what he's really trying to do. See, you need somebody to commend you along the way and know the difference between a good deal and a bad deal. Somebody who's been through those paths and been through those cycles. Somebody who can help you weed through the BS and go to the success. Does that make sense to you guys? No or yes? Yes. And I remember my mentor said, Armando, he goes, you need to move to Texas to be successful. This was 2001. Now, none of you have to move to Texas. Because right now, San Diego looks like Texas did in 2001. The price points are different, the percentages are the same. The opportunity is insane right now. He says, Armando, you need to move to Texas. So I go and I try to tell my wife, like, we're living in a garage. I said, honey, this man says we need to move to Texas, we're going to move to Texas. She goes, you move to Texas. And then when you buy a house and get the business going, then me and our son will move to Texas. You see, men, they don't believe us because we're liars, right? We just say, baby, I'm going to give you the best house. You probably should say, yeah, that fast. Is your wife here? That's why you did it. All right. See, we go and say, baby, I love you. I'm going to give you the best houses. I'm going to give you the best cars. Just let me put a ring on it, baby, and I'm going to marry you. And then guess what happens? We get married, we let life get in the way, and we don't keep that promise. And then we wonder why they don't support us. And the reality is they're just waiting for you to step up. Okay? They're just waiting for you to get off Instagram, stop looking at girls that you're never going to be able to date unless you make $1 million anyways. And they're waiting for you to go out there and be that princess, or be that prince to their princess, to give them the time and attention to focus on them, because they're your queen that you married. Here's the deal. Oh, by the way, you want to be sexier, make more money, right? Just flat out. People say you shouldn't say that, but it's true. You want to be sexier, make more money, right? Single guys, raise your hand if you're single. Make $1 million, you won't be. Ask me how I know. Happened twice. Both beautiful, both loving. But here's the fact of the situation. I told my wife, I said, I need to move to Texas. And I didn't have any money to move to Texas. Is it okay to finance your dreams? No or yes? Yes. Raise your hand. I'm actually curious about this. Raise your hand if you think it's okay to finance your dreams. Okay? Raise your hand if you're like, I don't think it's okay to finance my dreams. Totally fine. Here's the thing. I didn't have any money, so I had to borrow $1,000 from my dad. And my mom and dad don't have any money. And I had to borrow $1,000 from my dad for the Ryder truck. My dad now is 82, my mom's 78, and they've been married for 61 years. And they have 8 children. And my mom, from having 8 children, like her back is broken and like her knees are gone. And my dad, having to work at 10 o'clock at night supporting 8 children, is just physically depleted. And had I not financed my dreams and borrowed the money from them, my mom and dad would not have a paid off house, 2 paid off cars, and go on 2 paid off vacations a year. And here's what that looks like. I get a call, they go one in the summer, they go one in the winter. And I get a call, after 2 weeks on vacation, they call me and say, Junior, they call me Junior, you can't. Junior, we'd like to stay for another 2 weeks. We didn't swipe the credit card and move forward. Because had I not financed my dreams, I would not be standing before you today. See, it's okay to finance your dreams if you have a plan and direct action to take and somebody to mentor you along the process. But here's the thing, I'm going to tell you, what I think the biggest lie in public speaking is everybody telling you that you need a mentor. Flat out. I think it's the biggest lie in public speaking. I think it's been cliched and done over and over and over again. Because the reality is you're different from me and I'm different from you. We have different makeup. We have different DNA. You may be smarter than me. I may be more determined than you. You may be better at following systems. I may be a better talker than you. We are different. You understand this. But what you need is a system and a mentor. Does that make sense? Somebody to guide you, say, here's why you do it, but you call her by number, you follow the step 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense to you guys? No or yes? Yeah. To say, this is why you do step 1, this is why you do step 2, this is why you do step 3. Because we're different, but that's how you keep success on track. It's the step-by-step, methodical system, the ABCs of real estate. So finally, I told my wife, I said, I borrowed $1,000, I got the Ryder truck. She goes, I'm not going. I said, honey, you're going in front of the truck or you're going in the back of the truck. But you're going with me. And I remember when we crossed over into the border, over into Arizona. Okay, not that border, the border between California and Arizona. We crossed over the border in Arizona. And she goes, you did it. And I said, I did what? She says, you kept your promise. She says, that you said one day you would give us the lifestyle that we deserved. She goes, it hasn't happened yet, but today was the first time you really lived up to that. And I remember when we were outside of Arizona, outside of a little Roadview Hotel, $25 a night road trip.